Well, good morning again. My name is Jasmine Harvey, and I serve as a student engagement specialist here with Mississippi Public Broadcasting. We would love to know who's here with us, and we welcome you all to Workforce Wednesday, including our virtual audience that we gain as well. Today's workshop will serve as our 10th workshop that we've had, and we're so happy to see you all faces to join us today. We did gain a new virtual audience during COVID, and we also welcome our virtual audience via Zoom who has joined us and those who will be joining us throughout this program today. We would love to know who is joining us virtually as well, so if you could, please put your name, your organizations in the chat, and we'll be sure to chat with you and get you prepared for Q&A during this program as well. Before we start our program, I do want to give a quick overview. I know there may be some that may be attending. This may be your first time, or it may be your second, third, or fifth, or several times. But I still want to give you a quick overview of this wonderful initiative we have here at Mississippi Public Broadcasting. So in the year of 2018, MPB received a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to create a workforce development initiative. Our initiative, Getting to Work Mississippi, focuses on sharing information for students, adults, and providing the most relevant workforce-related information to resources to Mississippians. We work with partners to assess challenges and opportunities to produce videos focused on career pathways and the essential skills needed to be successful in the state. MPB created videos series that highlighted key industry sectors and a soft skills series with students. And out of this wonderful initiative is how Workforce Wednesday was born. In the year of December 2018, with the goals of gathering partners, networking, and collaborating to build building a workforce that is strong, not just for today, but for the future. These meetings are hosted every third Wednesday of the month, and going forward, they will continue to be hybrid, in person and virtually. All resources and registration for any future Workforce Wednesdays, as well as past Workforce Wednesday, are available on our website at education.mpbonline.org. And for our virtual audience, I did not forget you. All of this information will be placed in the chat. So now let's start our program. Today's program, Making Education, Health, and Technology Available for All, will explore SR1, a program renowned for its commitment to breaking the cycle of generational issues for over 300 students, their families, and the communities they serve. It is with great honor that I introduce our distinguished guest speaker for today. She will enlighten us about SR1's multifaceted education, health, and technology initiatives, all aimed at equipping students for success in both higher education and the workforce. Now I will introduce our wonderful guest speaker. Ms. Dorlisa Hutton is a native of Jackson, Mississippi. Nothing embodies Ms. Hutton more than her desire and willingness to serve. She is a servant leader, which means she shares knowledge, puts the needs of others first, and helps people perform at the highest possible level. Ms. Hutton received a Bachelor's of Science degree in Healthcare Administration from Jackson State University, a Master's of Public Health degree from Jackson State University, and a Master's of Biomedical Sciences from the University of Mississippi. She serves as the Chief Operation Officer at SR1, a nonprofit 501c3. SR1, I know you all are wondering, and she's going to come forth with a wonderful presentation, but just to give a brief overview, SR1 focuses on enlightening disparities in education, health, and technology for students in grades K through 12, their families, and community members. Through the service that Ms. Hutton oversees, students are provided free, remember that word, free, award-winning academic and social services to holistically assist them reach their goals, access, and success. 100% of SR1 students have graduated on time and enrolled in college. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome and big hand clap for Ms. Dorlisa S. Hutton.
It's an honor to be here today, to be in this room with so many great individuals. I have classmates here who I graduated from high school with at Forest Hill. I have partners, Ms. B's Department of Human Services at Forest, okay. And then I also have Mr. Green, our founder, with us, and also Ms. Zoe from SR1, who's a part of our marketing team. And just want to share with you a couple of things today about our organization and the work we're doing to improve Mississippi's positive workforce now. Just like to say, when I walked in this morning, I had the opportunity to run into one of our former parents, and she enlightened us on what two of our students are doing now, and that's what it's all about. making things positive for our students and for our community. And so we'll get started. Make sure everything's working. Okay, we're going to give us a second, so I'll keep going. That's not a problem. So today I'll share with you how we use our services and our programs to work with our students who are K through 12, but also their families in the community. One thing that we strive at with SR1 is we want to meet students, families, and the community members where they are. That's always so important. Sometimes we can tell people we think we have solutions, but until you truly listen and know what they need, can you truly serve those individuals? I won't take too long today because I know I stand in the way of lunch, but I want to make sure I give you all the information that I can and answer any questions that you may have today. You want me to just get okay, well, we're ready. I'll make sure. Is it flipping? Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're good. And I like to always start off, I know Jasmine shared with us, but a little bit about our mission. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we focus on eliminating disparities in education, health, and technologies. And so today I'll take you through some of those services and also how they work together to improve the workforce here in Mississippi, not only current, but also our future workforce. Our organization was founded in 2004 by our founder and current president and CEO, Mr. Tamu Green. Mr. Green saw a need. He's a graduate of Mississippi State University, but he saw a need for students to have the skills that they needed before they transition into college. And so that's where the ideal of SR1 came from, making sure that they're prepared both academically and socially. In 2016, the organization was awarded the Hugh Peck Award, and that was the highest award at that time in the state of Mississippi that any institution, whether education or a nonprofit, could receive, and that was based on the outcomes that we were providing our students. And this was awarded through the Mississippi State University's PrEP program. It was a state-funded initiative where they looked at LEAs, local school districts, and also nonprofits to see who was promoting positive outcomes for students. And so we were the 2016 recipient of that. Currently, and Jasmine told you, we're doing what we do best. We're serving students, serving families, serving community members. On an average year, we're serving over 300 students and families throughout central Mississippi. We believe at SR1 that we have to invest today. We have to invest today in our workforce in order for us to have those long-term results, not only to improve individuals and families and communities, but our state economic overall mobility as well. Y'all got to remember to click. Oh, that'll be great. If you want to click, that'll be, because I'll go and forget. So with our services, we focus it on an education model. It's our cool education model. And it's evidence-based, which simply means for us, everything that we provide the students has been researched. It's proven, it's effective. So with our model, we're grounded in community building programs. We know that we have to build from the community up. We know our students don't live in silos. You can't serve a student and then send them back home. You have to serve that whole family. You have to serve that community. And so we focus on key areas. If you look at our model, we have academic and innovation skills. So I'll touch on some of what we do there with those in the PowerPoint. Family and relationship education, which is so important. I like to say sometimes we discredit parents, but I know I'm talking to a group who doesn't, but sometimes it's just that parents don't know. It's not that I have not met a parent yet that doesn't want the best outcome for their student. It's just sometimes we don't know how. I'm a first-generation college graduate, which means neither one of my parents went to college. So navigating college for me was the first time. But my parents always instilled greatness and education in me. So not going to college was not an option. And so we meet parents and we help build them as well. We also look at life and career skills. It's one thing to be academically sound, but if you don't have social skills, those social skills can stop the brightest student. And I see people shaking their heads because if you think back to even some of the people you went to school with, smart, but just didn't have those skills. So we look at teaching our students not only soft skills, such as communication, but we also teach them, we like to say, Mr. Green coins it, fail fast. It's okay to mess up, but you have to get up, learn, and keep moving. And that's the part of life. Nothing is going to work smoothly, but it's how you interact and get back up with that. We also engage our students in civic literacy. I'm not for sure if you all have been keeping up with the latest election, but our Secretary of State let us know we've had one of the lowest voter turnouts. We have to get our students engaged and caring about their community. If they're invested in their community, they're going to serve their community and they're going to stay in their community. And that has to happen. And so we teach them about the democratic process. We get them to serve in the community. We engage them in meaningful civic literacy opportunities. And then also we have outdoor and recreational activities. So with that, we do everything with our students from shark tagging with the University of Southern Mississippi, where it introduces them to such things as marine science. We also have a great partnership with the Mississippi Museum of Science and the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, where we look at conservation. We expose our students to things such as archery, golf, tennis. You have to break them out, soccer, things out of traditional recreational activities that they might be engaged in. And then also healthy lifestyle, which I will touch on with a lot of the activities that we have. So when we think about health and education and we think about the workforce, I've been asked, well, how does that even fit together? I've been asked that before. But we know in order for us to have productivity, in order for our students to be in school, we have to have those connections. It goes with productivity from our workers being there and being healthy, from our students being in class, being educated. If you're sick or ill, you're not at work, you're not at school. And so those are foundations to us building our workforce here in Mississippi. So when we think about a well-educated workforce is able to learn and gain new skills. If we look at where our jobs are currently headed, over 10.8% of our new jobs over the next 10 years will move into a STEM field. When we think about STEM sometimes, though, we only think about things like robotics, engineering. No, right here in the great state of Mississippi, farming is STEM. Agriculture is STEM. Fishing is STEM. But we also have an area such as that in Mississippi where we're going to see a decline. Those areas have been declining over the years, and it's projected over the next 10 years, we're looking at a 19% decrease in those careers. So ag, farming, fishing, and we know those are great workforce needs in a state like Mississippi. So we're looking, and I'm going to talk a little later about how we're engaging current and also future workforce in those areas. So we've already mentioned productivity at work and at school, but also with what we're doing, we're teaching our students to be critical thinkers, to be problem solvers. We always say what we walk out the classroom with is not what we face at the workforce. You can't go find that theory back in the book that you said and learned, but you have to be able to think through the material that you've learned and also research and gain new information. So if we look at where we currently are at a state, I just left a conference last week, and it was a USDA conference. So it was people from throughout the U.S., and I had a lot of people to say, oh, wow, you're from Mississippi? How do you live there? And I was quick to say, I'm a proud Mississippian. I'm proud to live in Mississippi. And sometimes when I came back and I told people that, they said, oh, they must have been from the north. No, it was people right from the south. And so that was my response. But it's so many great things happen in Mississippi. But the sad thing is, this is what we see and this is what the nation sees. So currently, among all states, we're ranked 49th in economic well-being. And I'm going to talk about how SR1 is working to improve that number. We're 39th overall in education. Our health is 50th. And then also our family and communities well-being is also ranked at 50. So currently, if we look at early childhood in Mississippi, which is critical to getting students started on a great career path, as a state, we currently overall have only 5.6% of our eligible students who are actually in programs, not just at a daycare, but in preschool programming where they're learning. We only have 10.7% of our adult population with an associate's degree. We only have 24.8% of our adult population with a bachelor's degree, and then that number drops when we look at our adult population in poverty. So that's a gap to 5.5 when we look across the board of our individuals in the state living in poverty. So this is where SR1 comes in. I enjoy my job. I've been with the organization for over 11 years, but I've been there since 2011. But we see that what we are doing is working, and that's what's important. We actually provide year-round academic and social skills services to students throughout Central Mississippi. So we're serving Central Mississippi K through 12. That pipeline that I showed you earlier, it doesn't matter when a child enters our pipeline, whether it's kindergarten, 5th grade, 9th grade, we're going to keep them until they graduate from college. Well, high school, but we want to keep up with them as they go through college. So in that, they're a part of the organization, and guess what? They're making a commitment. They're not working, but their commitment is the program because they're coming in to get free services. And those free services range from everything from free ACT prep. So on average, we see our students' ACT scores go up from 5 to 6 points. We provide all the materials that they need for that training, everything from the book that they're able to keep. We even offer flashcards if they want those as well, but they commit to our 14-step process to increase those ACT scores. And we know ACT scores correlate to scholarship money, which correlates to a difference in going to college or not. We also provide college and business visits. You will be amazed at how many students just show up to college and it's their first time on a campus. What they don't realize, if you have to find the right college for you. So we've taken students, and one comes to mind in particular. She was 6th grade when we visited LSU. Fell in love with LSU. I'm going to LSU. Over the years, we visited Tulane. We visited Xavier in New Orleans. Mississippi State, University of Mississippi. Came home, visited some college. She graduated this past May from Mississippi College. By her going to those college visits, and she won't mind me sharing, but this particular student's parents never even finished high school. So she is the first person, even out of all of her siblings, she was the first to enter college and the first to graduate. And she started our program in 6th grade. But by going to those visits, she realized a smaller college is the best fit for me. So we help them to navigate that process. What's the best setting for you for a college, whether it's a 4-year or a community college? And I do not forget our community colleges. We encourage our students. If that's the best fit for them, community college is where we're going to start. So it's not always a 4-year where we start our students. But besides that, we also help them to navigate what is it that's your interest. And from there, we're able to help navigate majors. We're also able to look at and bring in and allow them to speak with professors and students in those areas. I mean, we've had students, and Mr. Green will probably laugh, we had one and she's actually wrapping up chiropractor school now. But she was in high school, and for some reason she was set on being a doctor. And then one day she said, you know what though, Mr. Dorlisa, I really don't like blood. Well, you know what, we're gonna have to talk about this. It's still areas in the healthcare field. And so she found her niche, and so she'll be finishing from chiropractor school on next year. So we're very proud of her. And I could go on and on with the success stories. We've had students who've entered engineering fields, but Mr. Green has known at their heart that they're into sports. But they, guess what, weren't playing sports, but that's their heart. So another student there, Mr. Green introduced him into the idea of maybe being an athletic director. So he majored in business, has completed, but during his time at Mississippi State, he interned with the AD's department. Mr. Green was able to put him in contact with some people he knew. He also was added to the staff for the football team, and he's on his path. That's what he enjoys doing, and so that's what's important, us putting our students on the right path for a successful life. And by putting our students on a successful path, we're putting the state on a successful path for the future. And one thing that I'm really excited about, our first year we opened SR1, College Preparatory and STEM Academy. It's the first public charter school in the state of Mississippi that's focused on STEM. And we're deliberate in what we're doing. Our first year enrollment is K and First. Next year we will roll in K through second. And so these kids are gaining valuable STEM lessons at kindergarten. Gone is the ideal, and we never had that ideal at SR1, that you have to be high school to engage in STEM. So our students are infused in STEM every day. On last night, we hosted a STEM night for the community and for the school, and so we do still have registration slots available for our inaugural class, and we have some information on our organization and also on how to enroll students if you are interested. But we're setting them on a path and a high standard of excellence from the beginning, and it's a free public charter school. It's supported by the state of Mississippi. So, back to health in the workforce. The World Health Organization realizes lost productivity puts us back a lot. If you look for every dollar invested in employment health, just $1, it's a return of 3. And we know that's a huge return. But also think about when we're not investing in the health of not only our students, but also our adults, what's happening to our workforce. And we're losing over $225 billion just in lost productivity. And that's due to health-related issues. And when we think about health, I also just want to bring in not just physical well-being, but also mental and emotional well-being. Those are key factors. So even with our students and our families, we offer access to a free mental health counselor whose focus is youth and also families. And I'm happy to say that our families and our students do take that service. We had a group of high schoolers. They were meeting twice a month for an hour. They came and said, Mr. Lisa, this isn't enough time. Can we move to 2 hours and think about maybe doing every Saturday? Now, they were coming in on Saturdays just to be with the mental health counselor, to talk, to navigate, to be in a safe place. And so we have to make sure we're providing that safe place for our students and families and for our workforce, that they're able to say, I'm not doing well today. And we don't brush it off as, oh, it'll get better, and keep on moving. No, we really have to hear what people are saying to us when they say, I'm not having a good day today. So if we look at health in Mississippi and in our children, again, we see we aren't doing the best, but we can do better. And that's something else that we're working on at SR1. So as a state, we rank first in infant mortality. So our infants are dying before they turn 1. And so if we're losing our infants, we're losing our future workforce. So we're going to have to help our pregnant mothers. We're going to have to make sure that they're receiving prenatal care and that they know what foods and things to do and not to do. We're second in teenage pregnancy, and actually we go back and forth over the years. We're first or second. And so we have to improve that because it's proven that teen moms drop out of high school. Teen moms also have repeat teenage pregnancies. And those students, and these are just stats, this is not everybody, because I have seen and we have helped parents and students create new pathways. But if you don't have a new pathway, you repeat your same pathway. So teenage mothers and their children are more likely to compete that cycle. So teen moms have teen parents. And so we have to work not only with our moms, but also with our young men who are fathering these children. So it has to be a holistic impact. We rank 4th in obesity for our children. And so this is something that I'm going to talk about how we're helping to combat as well. But also, as a state, we have the lowest life expectancy at birth. The state of Mississippi does. So when a child is born in the state of Mississippi, compared to all other states, we have the lowest life expectancy. And all things that we are working to change, and we will change. So if we look at health in our adults, it doesn't change because why? Our unhealthy children progress on to adulthood. So we're first in hypertension for our adults. We're second in diabetes. We're second in stroke as a state. and it goes on and on. And all of these are comorbidities because most of the time, if we have obesity, we're looking at having hypertension. And what I always say, don't look at a person and just, oh, well, he's fine or she's fine, because no, it's people walking around every day because they're a certain weight or they look a certain way, or we're just used as a culture that that's a healthy look. But we have to make sure that we're finding out our numbers and that we're taking the precautions that we need to be healthy. So when we look at where we are in Mississippi, we already mentioned health, but when you look at things such as obesity, we're more likely to miss school, miss work. And then just think about as a child sometimes, because our children are growing up in a social media world. It's quick and instant. So we're even seeing where our students who are unhealthy due to obesity are choosing to stay home and not go to school because they have that anxiety. So it also leads to costs for employers, which impacts our workforce here in the state of Mississippi. So as an organization, what are some things that we're doing to combat those numbers? So one is our Farm to School, one is our Beginning Farmer, and one is our Healthy You program. Our Farm to School program actually targets elementary age students. And so we're specific in charge in looking at K through 4th and their families. So what we're doing, we're engaging them in agriculture education, which includes what are healthy fruits and vegetables. We're letting them visit local farms and understanding the farm to table concept of where food comes from, how it makes it to our table. We're helping them become little farmers in a sense, and also scientists. We're also doing menu tasting with them. So we're taking those fresh fruits and vegetables and we're letting them taste them. We're preparing different ways so they can see what they like. So when a child tells you, I don't like that, it's not that they don't like it, they haven't had it. And you have to figure out what's a healthy way. And so we're working with schools to implement more fresh fruits and vegetables that are grown locally into their menu preparation and also their snacks. But we're also working with the families and those students where we're doing cooking demonstrations. Because again, we can't have school providing healthy, but we're going home and we're not healthy. So we're doing that holistic approach where we're working with the families and we're working with the communities. So we're working with food nutrition directors in schools where they say, Dorlisa, we're providing free breakfast, but they'll rather go to the convenience store and get that sausage and biscuits that's been sitting under the heat lamp for 2 to 3 hours. No, we're working to change that. And we're looking at menu audits to understand what is it that they're not eating. Because one thing our districts cannot afford is to be wasteful with spending. So if kids are not eating certain foods, we're making sure we're taking notice of that so directors aren't ordering things that they are not eating. And with the nutrition education, we're combining that with our non-school hour program. And so with our non-school hour program, which also goes back to our education, I mentioned we meet year-round, but we also meet after school and on Saturdays, and we host a 5-week summer camp at Millsaps College for our students who are in this area, and for our students more in the Scott County area, we actually host that at their schools. So we keep them engaged year-round in all our activities. Our Beginner Farmer program, it goes back, if you remember early on, I mentioned how it's projected that we will lose farming, agriculture, and fishing careers at an alarming rate. So we're trying to do is work on combating that before it happens. So we're targeting specifically minority farmers, but anybody is welcome. And we're targeting beginner farmers. And those are considered from 0 years of experience all the way to 10. So you can come and we can help you gain the skills you need to farm. And we're not talking about huge plots. So don't think I have to have this huge plot of land. No, we're working with individuals in order for them to make sure that they're having and growing healthy foods. Healthy foods for individuals, healthy foods for families, healthy foods for the community. And we're also using things such as Climate Smart, so it won't impact our environment anymore. So those are things such as reducing the use of pesticides, not using pesticides. So learning when and how to grow. So it reduces the need for any pest coming. We're also using climate smart technology where we're reducing till. So we're doing a no-till where you can actually use cover crops or tarping. And so we're teaching these beginning farmers these skills so they can have lifelong. And the plan overall is for 70 of these farmers to be able to launch and sustain their own farm. And we know if we can provide that in a community, we have a lot of food deserts in Mississippi, and a food desert is simply where individuals can't get to healthy foods. And with us being a rural state, that's a lot of our communities. Here, we can drive to a Whole Foods or we can drive to a fresh market, but that's not something everyone can do. And even for those who can drive, can they afford it? So by teaching farming at even a small scale, it's going to make a huge difference in the health of individuals and communities. We also have our Healthy You program that we implemented. And with our Healthy You program, we were looking at those 2030 healthy initiatives. So that's combating everything that I've already mentioned that's going on in Mississippi, from hypertension to obesity to infant mortality. What it does is a set of standards that says, hey, let's work towards these. And so what we did, we implemented for the whole family. So K to adults, and if you're an individual, that's fine too. So we engaged in activities such as walking. Because guess what? You have to start me off slow. I'm not a runner. I'm not going to go out and run. So, hey, let's just take a walk. That's exercise. We're moving. We also did cycling, soccer, bar, which is a great low impact type. It's built in the ground of ballerina, but it's low impact for those who may have joint problems or you're just not into hardcore exercise. It's great. It's very low impact. And so we took a group of Central Mississippi participants, and through that, we did a year. So we saw weight loss. We saw blood pressure decreasing. We even had some individuals who were able to be taken off of their medication because they were actively participating in this program. And the whole goal of the program was to get them to sustain it beyond. We just want to get you started because that's sometimes the hardest thing. Let me just get started. So if we could get them started, that was something they could continue on their own. And we had great reviews from that. People talked about how they were just used to sitting all day at work. But they were looking forward to coming to walk with SR1 in the afternoons. We also brought in chefs to prepare healthy meals. But guess what? Meals that were quick. Because we know if you've been at work all day and you have a family, guess what? Sometimes that drive-through line at Wendy's or McDonald's is just easier. But is it the best option? So we had chefs to come in and find ways and show how you could cook quick, easy, healthy meals. Things that you didn't have to put a lot of prep time in and that were quick and easy and the kids enjoyed. If you would like to contact us for any additional information, I've included several of our websites. So let me kind of walk you through it. Our main website is www.sr1tech.org. It's the first one that's posted. If you would like to learn more about our school, SR1 College Preparatory and STEM Academy, that's our second website, and you can go there. And then to learn more about our agriculture initiatives, you see that's sr1ag.org. And also feel free to call us at any time or send us an email. And if you have any questions, I'm open to any questions at this time. And I want to thank you all so much for allowing me to speak today. Oh, I'm sorry. So SR1 is actually just SR1. If you see it, scientific research though. And the reason for that, as I mentioned before, everything that we do is going to be rooted in research and evidence. We don't believe in opinions. We don't believe in things that don't work or just tradition. And that's something we're always doing. Just because we've done it doesn't mean it's the best way. You have to listen to your community and know what they need. And so we're always looking at what are the best practices and ways that we can serve Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you.
How can I find out about SR1?
So, all schools will not tell you. But we are here today, and I'll be more than happy, and I can even help you navigate through if there's services that you would like for your kindergartner.
Okay. Well, I work at a high school, but
Okay.
I'm just saying I see a lot of students, I see a lot of parents, and sometimes when they're new, they just don't know what's
Yes, ma'am.
going on in their, county or city.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
I would be interested in finding out. I know someone that child attendance, and you all are doing a great job.
yes, ma'am. And so I was just going to say with that, we do reach out to the schools, but we know sometimes schools are busy. So we try to do things such as PTO or PTA night, open house. We try to work with counselors to send out messages on just the wide blast that goes to parents. But again, we know everybody is different and schedules are different. So sometimes intentions are good, but the information doesn't get sent out. Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful presentation
Thank you so much.
and wonderful things you're doing. Now, is SR1 available in a north central county, especially Holmes County?
Okay.
Because I know it's greatly needed.
We actually have served some students in Holmes County. And when I say we're intentional, Mr. Green is really good at making sure we're doing what we need to do, which is the best thing for the students. So even when I first started at SR1, we were serving just 3 counties, Hinds, Madison, and Scott counties. We got it right there. And from there, that's where we've expanded throughout central Mississippi. We're not one of those organizations that believes in just saying we're doing something or touching a child and then not seeing that child ever again. No, we want to be intentional in making sure we have the resources and the right personnel in place to sustain that community, if that makes sense. But yes, ma'am, we've served students from homes.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
I am a middle school counselor, and I am all about engaging with the community, and I would like to get information so that I can give to students that may fit you all's program.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, it's all about the students.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Even if it means a student being taken from me. But my question is, do you all serve students that have IEPs?
What we do, in our non-school hour program, we make sure that we have the correct personnel. We have served students, and we do currently have students who have IEPs, yes, ma'am. But again, we want to make sure that we're the best service and we have the right personnel, yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to say that was an outstanding presentation.
Thank you.
Someone from Forest Hill University. But no, so you mentioned early on about their learning skills before they transition to college.
Yes.
Are these skills evaluated and reevaluated based on like the climate of the world? Like, what are the skills that are needed today as well as what's going to be needed 10, 15 years from now? Because I think that's something that we don't do well enough is look at what kids are going to need 15, 20 years from now as opposed to like, oh, you're going to be a TV repairman. Like we don't need that anymore. I update my TV. So.
I understand. And so we are. That's one thing that we're always looking at, not only trends here in America's workforce and what's coming, but also globally. Because we believe that our kids have to be globally informed. And so we're not rooted just in what's today. We're always looking to where everything is moving. Even before STEM was a buzzword back in 2011 when I first joined the organization, we were already doing that. And I failed to mention one of the biggest things that we have and our students learn is robotics. We have a team that competes through the University of Mississippi's first Tech Challenge, and they've been competing since 2011. So that's a robotics program, and those kids hey, I give it to them. And that's one thing, even with that, you don't have to be into STEM because it also combines public relations. It also combines communication skills. And so they come together as a team to design and build this robot and present it to judges during competition. And so everybody has their role, but it does look at things such as electrical engineering, programming, coding. And so they're dedicated and they're at the office 6 hours on Saturdays working on their robot and getting ready for competition. Yes, ma'am.
Such an outstanding presentation.
Thank you.
I heard you state earlier that the kids, they work on social skills.
Yes, ma'am.
And I see instances where these kids are so excited to be a part of these programs and their test scores are going up, their behavior is improving. But my concern is the parents, for me, it's the parents. What about these kids that go back into the homes where the parents are not educated or realize the importance of what these kids are actually achieving
Yes, ma'am.
through your program? So do you all have anything specifically geared toward parents? Seminars, workshops? And the reason why I say this is because I'm a parent
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm always involved in what my children are doing. But what about the children, parents that are not involved?
Yes, ma'am. And that is a good question because we do have those. We do offer workshops for parents. We even offered parents with services for mental health. But with that, one of the biggest programs that we do is parent communication. Kids get accustomed to when they hit the door, how was your test today? I mean, so we teach parents, how did your day go? Something as simple as that, but we teach them how to communicate. Even when they're upset, sometimes how you do have to back away because even as a parent, children don't always understand. It's just that they care. They just hear and they say it all the time, bom, 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 bom. And so I hear that, so I shut down and I get an attitude. And it's not that parents are doing a bad job. It's just we have to even understand and remember sometimes where we were in that age and be honest where we were in that age. And so we take parents back, and it's things and modulars that they can work with the kids on to kind of put those into practice. And we even teach them how to have those hard conversations, those conversations that come back to drug use, because they're in the school. They're there. We're able to talk to them about having sex, because guess what? They're hearing it at school. So is it best to come from you and provide them the correct information? And we do provide free services on teenage pregnancy prevention where we use evidence-based resources actually from middle school through high school, and the students go through the curriculum. And it's a really engaging curriculum. We use PowerPoints, we use music, we use short videos, and it's really more, I like it because to me it's more facilitator led from our end. The kids really take it. And then you have to be willing. I'm not going to say one activity, but within that curriculum, and this is important going back to your question why I'm saying this, we teach students to have a trusted adult. And when we tell them a trusted adult, we put down parameters of what is a good trusted adult. Because guess what? Sometimes it's not mom. Sometimes it's not dad. And so we help them to identify that trusted adult, going back to what you're saying. So sometimes we have to have substitutes that step in for our parents or those kids who go back into those environments where it's just not a good environment. But we work with them and we work with that trusted adult to make sure there's a connection. We've had, and Mr. Green can share, but we've had kids who we've had to buy shoes from because if they took their shoes off at home, mom or dad were taking them to sell them because they just needed to get a quick hit. And so that's reality for us and some of our kids. And so we accept that and we embrace that and we do what we need to do for that child. We've had parents who the children have been removed, but we understand the whole goal is to reunite the family. But we've seen instances, even when they've been reunited, it's still not healthy for that child. And so we've had to support there as well. And so that's kind of our things. And my educators in the room, you know you're not just an educator. Sometimes you're everything for that child. And so whatever we can be for our students, we try to step in and fill that gap. And it's never been a time, I'm happy to say, that they needed us, that we haven't stepped in, whether that's after hours or not.
Hey, it's me again. I kind of have two questions. The other questions I know I can ask you afterward. My first question is, who do you all collaborate with in community? Do you have partners or advisors? Is there a mentorship arm? Like, what informs you all's research? Is it like all in-house? And in that question, it's what is your staff makeup? Like, who informs your staff? And then my other question is college the end goal for your program? Like when students sign up, is the end goal college, or is there room for a trade or some other kind of end goal?
Well, our end goal for all our students is career and life happiness. And you might not have been able to see that on the model, but that's our end goal. And the reason why we say college access and success so much, and I'm going to go back and answer your question about our research, but I'm going to catch that one first. You will be, well, you're probably not surprised. But based on your zip code or based on what your family does, sometimes you're not put in the track for college. It's not that you're not capable. It's just we're looking, and I'm not saying we as the people in the room, but people are looking at where you're from. And so and it's nothing wrong with trade. I have some great people in trade. This is all you can do. We like to say you can reach your full potential. It's not based on your zip code. It's not based on what your family income is. It's not based on if anybody graduated from high school or college in your family. So we've encountered so many students who didn't believe college was for them, but have succeeded simply because they didn't know it was an option. And so that's kind of where we are there. And then as far as research, we have great partners. We have one in the room with us here today. And so we work with state agencies, we work with districts, we work with federal agencies, I mean, everything, just NASA. We even have partners there, workforce partners, everything that we can think of, we're in every area, education. Mr. Green always likes to say, we need people who are a lot smarter than us. And so we partner with people who are a lot smarter than us. And that's something that you have to be willing to be comfortable with. You can only grow and learn. And then we have our parents, our students. They're part of what's informing us. If you ever truly can sit down and let a child talk freely and not be judgmental and truly listen, they will let you know everything they are facing. And from there, we're able to provide what we need. And we have information with us if you would like some more information. One is we have a list of services that we provide, and we do a quarterly newsletter. But this one in particular was our college edition. And so we highlighted all the colleges, private, public, community. And so they're in here, but you can feel free to take. And we highlighted some alumni from the various universities.
Ms. Hutton,
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple of questions from our online viewers.
Yes, ma'am.
First question is, how do people connect with you to start the beginner farmer program? And where does these programs take place?
Okay, great question. If you can either call the office at 601-206-4544, but the best place to go would be our website, specifically for ag, which is www.sr1ag.org, and there you can submit your contact information, and we can get you registered. And what we do with our beginning farmers, and that will be starting shortly, we do online and in person. So then that way, if they're not able to join us, they can have those courses online, and we can provide that information for them.
Wonderful. One last question. Does the beginner farmer program include farm animal instructions?
So we do provide farm. Animal is something we're looking into. So we are making connections with some animal science professors that we have talked to. So we're looking at incorporating the animal portion in as well.
And I have one
Yes,
question
ma'am.
in regards to that. Two of my girls went through the program.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was very active in the program as well. They are now adults and they're in the workplace. However, they are interested in farming. And they go to Whole Foods because they want to eat healthy,
Yes,
but they
ma'am.
want to start building their own garden. Does this program extend to those who are only currently in the program, or those who are formerly in the program, or someone who can just participate as an individual?
So we actually will begin new enrollment within the next month for those who want to come in. So we have completed a round, but we will be beginning new enrollments. Yes, ma'am.
And I have a final question from our online
Yes, ma'am.
audience. If someone wants to partner with you, how can they do that?
If they give us a call or send an email, we'll be more than happy to reach out. Yes, ma'am.
And they had a question about physical address, because could they come in and visit you? And if so, what is that physical address?
You can come in and visit. We do ask, because we do work with students, that we do, if you're coming in especially to have a sit down, if we could schedule that, just to make sure that everyone who they would need to speak with is available. We are located in Ridgeland, Mississippi, our main office.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Let's give her another round of applause. Miss Dorlisa Hutton with SR1, a wonderful job. And before we close this out, the questions, I want to, Mr. Green, I don't know Mr. Green, and she's alluded to Mr. Green many, many times, so I'm going to ask Mr. Green if he would just come have a few words of expression. Or I can bring the mic to you if that would work. Okay.
Well, we really do appreciate everyone, and thank you so much for coming out. I always tell everybody, I'm not the one to run the company. So the person who runs the company, that's the person who's doing the talking. So Miss Elise is the key person. But we really appreciate everyone. It really does take everybody. I will say that. I'm not going to talk long, but it really does take everybody. We don't have all the answers, and sometimes the answers change. As you mentioned, I was blessed. I'm from a big city I call Forest, Mississippi. That's where I grew up in. So I would tell everybody that. But I come from a single-parent home. My mom was a school teacher. But what we're trying to do is bless people with things that we wish we would have known ourselves, if that make any sense. There's so many things we didn't know, so many things we don't know now. I got to be careful. Miss Elise is very professional, and she, talks well, so sometimes I get in trouble. But unfortunately in life, you are blessed with the parents that you get. And unfortunately in life, everyone doesn't have that same opportunity. So unfortunately, I have seen some terrific parents. And unfortunately, I've seen some that, as you alluded to, just haven't matured yet to that point. So what we try to do is bridge that gap. I wish I could say it was one pill that fits everything. It's not. And transportation is big on us. A lot of times we talk to people from up north. They be like, well, why come the kids just can't get on the bus or get on a subway, something like that? We're like, look, we got to have transportation. You got to have safe transportation. That's real big. Ag, my background is technology, so that's how we got started with STEM. I don't know anything about ag, but she'll tell you, we're going out there today, we've been learning about ag, tarping. If you guys saw on the news, we gave away like 500 pounds of collard greens. And some people like collard greens, but next to spinach, collard green is actually the next nutrient that you can have. Based on the South and based on the culture, it kind of got a negative connotation, and because it get marketed like spinach. Spinach got marketed because of Popeye and things like that, but actually collard greens are very, very good for you. And we grew them organically also. So that's another thing too. Organic food makes a big difference because it's so many chemicals today, you can't keep up with it. So back to food safety and back to the ag part, and I'll be quiet. But what we're doing is we are hiring some ag professionals who got expertise in it. Again, it's not like we're trying to hire, an uncle who, done some things. Not saying they didn't know now. They're very smart. They can give you some advice now. So don't get me wrong with that part. But we're trying to find people who are scientists in the field and who understand food safety and things like that also. But I really appreciate it. If you guys got any questions, just reach out to us. But the best thing to do is reach out to the website and fill out the form. We got the applications online and things there. We are trying to branch out to homes and other places more so. We always have a summer camp also, if you need to reach us through a summer camp that we have at the college. We usually have a summer camp, a 5-week camp at Millsap College, and we're trying to do more things online also. But feel free to reach out to us, any questions, and I really do appreciate it. Yeah.